Hello, everybody. It's Stephen Paul from WinExtra bringing you your daily brief for June the 8th, 2011. And we're on hump day here, middle of the week. Looking forward to the weekend. Mind you, the weather's nice outside, so I guess that's, one small consolation.
Thunderstorms scheduled here today.
Ooh.
So, not exactly the best
75 degrees. Anyway.
Yeah, it should hit about 95 here today, 92, 95, which is cooler than it has been the last few days. We had it over the hundreds, so you can imagine my Irish backside did not like that in any way, shape, or form. Being a snow bunny rather than a heat bunny, and just like melting around here lately.
Interesting little news item to start off the day with.
You're still on an Apple bent today, aren't you?
Actually, I already posted one about Apple not supporting XP on their iCloud service.
All right, look, Windows XP users need to get this into your head.
You're done.
Yeah, the operating system is deceased. It is dead. It is fodder for the worms. It is over a decade old. It is no longer supported. And the next person that whines to me and says, well, I only bought my notebook 2 years ago, is getting my foot up their arse. Because they should have realized that they were buying an operating system that was no longer supported. Remember we went through that whole crap with having to explain to people in very small details that yes, Microsoft allowed OEMs to sell it because OEMs put a lot of pressure on them, but they also allowed them to sell it under the explicit, with the explicit statement that we will not be supporting this. Yeah. You'll have to do your own crap.
Well, apparently, continuing with the Apple thing.
Who wants iCloud anyway?
iCloud?
Who wants iCloud anyway?
Well, there's Infinite Apple seems to have discovered that iCloud has been utilizing not only Amazon's cloud service, but also Microsoft's Azure cloud service. So you got cloud on top of cloud here. You got thunderstorms happening.
Yeah, basically, what's happening here is that it looks like they're actually using Amazon's, what's the name of Amazon's cloud?
AWS.
Yeah, that they're using that as possibly a CDN for, distributing and hosting some of the files, because you got to take into consideration, this is a massive data center that Apple have built. I think it's supposed to hold something like 12 petabytes of information or something. But I could be wrong there, 251-281-8730 if I am, and let us know. And they're supposedly building another one at the same location. But the problem with data centers is this. If you only have them at one centralized location, they're open to so many issues. Connectivity goes down in that region, DNS issue in that region. Everybody's looking to get locked out for a while.
Yeah.
So you need to kind of spread things around, which might explain why they would be using Microsoft services and Amazon services as kind of a CDN. The other side of the coin is that they might just be using them while they're getting everything set up.
Yeah.
And then might abandon them completely. So, maybe somebody with a bit more information about how Apple does this stuff can ring in or email us in a podcast at winextra.com, or leave us a show note on winextra.tv or winextra.com, and let us know, are there some things that we're missing here with regards to Apple's involvement with S3 and
Azure
and the Microsoft Cloud. Now, this isn't the only Microsoft Apple involvement we've had in the past
couple days.
Yeah. Apparently,
yeah, I love it.
Windows Phone 7 is so awesome. Well, okay, let's be serious. It's not just Windows Phone 7, but the new iOS 5 Apple is, how do we put this politely?
Copying.
Borrowing heavily from other phones and devices and features. And, of course, you know, they're doing the whole, oh, this is innovative.
Yes.
This is a first. This is us. This is Apple.
Awesome.
This is suck my balls. This is like when Steve Jobs got up there and he said, what? iOS, the #1 mobile operating system. And then every other ratings company in the world just basically turned around and went, you are?
You serious? Who are you kidding? Anyway, some of the
Android #1.
Yeah, one of the interesting things was that Joe Belfiore, who is the head of the Windows Phone 7 department at Microsoft, tweeted out saying that, you know, basically lots of great Windows Phone ideas headed to iOS. Camera back.
Yeah, what he said was, feeling flattered today.
Yeah.
Lots of great Windows Phone ideas heading to iOS. Camera button above lock. Auto upload of pics. Better notifications. And then, feeling flattered today, part 2. Wi-Fi sync built-in. Wi-Fi sync, built-in Twitter, I can't talk today.
Background download
service, short messaging chats, though we do Facebook too. And of course, the Apple fanboys got their knickers in a twist.
Of course.
We're not copying anything. Nobody did this before us. You're all gay, because you're Microsoft, and you're gay.
And you're losers. You're a fail.
And you're gay. I'm an Apple hacksaw, and you're gay. Which is basically the kind of tone that went on Twitter and message boards yesterday.
Just as a side note, did you see that iOS 5 got jailbroken within 24 hours?
Yeah. I saw that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, you know, as we called out their list of stuff from Joe Belfiore's tweets, and, you know, we thought we'd have a look around the web and see if somebody with a bit more authority on this, like maybe somebody who wrote the book about Windows Phone 7, might have a bit more information. And, of course, we came across a post by Paul Thurrott over at WinSuperSite, and he's like, all this stuff was there first.
Yeah.
You know, there's no two ways about it. As he puts it, so where's the controversy here? From what I can see, the score is Belfiore 7, Apple apologists 0. Now, okay, we can understand that Paul Thurrott might have a bit of a bias towards Windows Phone. I mean, he's written books on stuff that I didn't even know existed in the Microsoft world, and apparently like books with thousands and thousands of pages, and he does the podcast with Leo Laporte as well. But if you do listen to that podcast, one thing you can never doubt is that the man doesn't really make apologies for Microsoft.
No.
And he's not afraid to say, you know, Apple is better at this or Android is better at something else. So I just think I'm going to take a key from the tone of yesterday and go, neener, neener, neener. Leave it at that.
Microsoft has started detailing some stuff about the Windows Phone Mango SkyDrive improvements.
Do you know how we improve SkyDrive?
Make it easy to use.
We make sure that it keeps its name for more than 6 months at a time.
That too.
So yeah, Microsoft's Mike Torres came out and said some bits and pieces about it. Apparently you're going to be able to share photos stored on your SkyDrive via email, text, or IM. Well, that's a bit of a no-brainer. Share your video on SkyDrive, browse your documents on SkyDrive. Isn't this all stuff that you would normally expect in SkyDrive? Hello? What am I missing here? Search your documents and see what's been shared with you. And apparently the new SkyDrive website is getting all HTML5-ish, which is,
Okay.
Speaking of HTML5, did you see the Chrome 12 came out today?
Yeah, I haven't updated yet. I got the little green arrow sitting there in the corner of my browser window.
Did you try the little Shaun of the Sheep demo for testing out Chrome's new 3D CSS acceleration? It's interesting, but I think your average user is just going to look at it and go, oh, look, I can move the TV a little bit of it, a little bit of it, a little bit of it. And it's kind of like, what? I mean, I understand fundamentally what it's displaying, and that's kind of cool, but to your average user who has no idea how hardware acceleration works or what 3D CSS is, and they just want a website to work, they're just going to go, and?
Yeah.
Anyway,
speaking of HTML and so on and so forth, apparently, I guess...
crap segue.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, in the presentation that they did for Windows 8 at the two conferences, there was a lot said about HTML5 and CSS and JavaScript, and very little said about Silverlight or WPF, and this has got the developers apparently really upset.
Well, you see, here's the thing. There wasn't a lot said about anything. If it wasn't for the fact that, Walt Mosspuppet turned around and asked, how are these tiles made? I don't think at the conference anybody would have mentioned HTML5 or JavaScript, because quite frankly, I can't remember her name, but the one that was up there with Sinofsky giving the demo. When they asked her anything, if it wasn't part of her script, she was like,
answer.
What do I say? What do I do?
Yeah.
So,
help me, Stevie, help me.
It's also early days in that respect. Now, I would have expected maybe Sinofsky to kind of step up and maybe give a bit more information, but nobody actually asked him about Silverlight at the time.
No.
And I think this is the difference. This was a demonstration of, Sinofsky's there and he's saying, okay, look, this is what we're shipping. This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't show anything off unless this is what
ready
you're getting,
go. Yeah.
And so he's showing this stuff off, but nobody asked developer questions. Nobody asked, are you doing Silverlight? So he didn't answer them. And I would strongly suspect that the information about that will come out as we see more and more Windows 8 stuff being put out. And he did say that they would continue to be putting Windows 8 information out there as the rest of the year progresses. Yeah. So you're not going to be left in the dark. It's just that nobody's mentioned it. Because, look, Microsoft has invested too heavily in .NET and Silverlight to sort of leave it all go astray. It's only
they've got a slightly bad track record.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's only a couple of weeks since we were talking about, or is it a month or 2 months since we were talking about, Silverlight coming to the Xbox for companies to be able to make their own panels and that sort of stuff. Yeah. So it's clearly part of Microsoft's future. Where they've been pushing it as part of developing for Windows Phone 7. Although, how that works with Windows 8 now is going to be interesting too going forward. But I would suspect that, look, here's the thing. HTML5 can do some awesome stuff.
Yeah.
But HTML5 as a standard is not yet ratified.
No.
HTML5 is still not set in stone. It's still very, very fluid. It's still a long way from completion. So it's kind of lacking that ubiquity of use and that ubiquity of understanding that developers have, that they can turn around and say, okay, I code this in HTML5 and it'll work here, here, and here. That's not necessarily the way things are with HTML5 because different devices support it to completely different levels, if at all. Until HTML5 is ratified, I don't think there's any possible way you can write Silverlight off. And on top of that, there's still so much that, Silverlight can do than HTML5 can't yet.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't give up that either.
No.
I would say you might for a while see a hybrid environment where you can, or probably for a long period of time, where it'll be you can code in either or.
Yeah.
But and again, you know, they're talking about these widgets and panels, childs, whatever you want to call them. They're widgets on the front of the Windows 8 desktop. And when they were talking about, these would be coded in JavaScript and HTML, that's all they were talking about, not the underlying application.
Yeah. One other thing that came out this morning, this is coming from DigiTimes in a roundabout way, so take it with a grain of salt. This has about a 20% chance of being accurate. Apparently, Microsoft is reportedly considering its own branded Windows 8 tablets.
Yes, because they would be part of the Windows experience stuff that goes into Microsoft stores. Yep.
Well, I would actually.
So are these supposed to be ARM tablets or what?
Doesn't say. It just
Any manufacturers at all linked?
A report from DigiTimes on Wednesday suggests that the company is working with Texas Instrument and Taiwan-based OEMs to create a Microsoft-branded Windows 8 PC.
All right, well, if it's Texas Instruments, then it'll be ARM.
Yeah.
An ARM-based chipset.
Yeah.
So, no-brainer.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously.
I hope they do. I really want. I would like to see them do the same thing with a Windows Phone handset. Have a specifically branded handset.
That's what Google do. They have one that is the standard.
Yeah.
And whether it sells or not is irrelevant. The point is that they make it. And this is the way things are supposed to be. Yeah. This is what you're supposed to aspire to or improve upon. And it would be good for Microsoft to have their Windows Phone handset, and we have to stop using the 7, because that's not going to last. It's about to be 7.1. So their Windows Phone handset and their Windows desktops and their Windows tablets, and of course, with the Microsoft stores, where they do have what do they call those machines again? Their preferred machines.
The Signature Series.
Their Signature Series, exactly. It only makes sense that they have their Microsoft Signature Series tablet sitting there and ready to show off.
Anyway, that's the show for today. If you have any comments that you want to drop by, send them to podcast@winextra.com, or leave them as a comment on winextra.com or winextra.tv. Or you can send us a voicemail to 251-281-8730, and we'll also take text messages too. So on that note, it's been a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. That's Paul. I'm Steve. This has been WinExtra's Daily Brief for June the 8th, 2011. Take care, everybody.
Have a good one, folks.